Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Demon Slayer Season 4, Episode 2. That's it, we're already into this new season of Demon Slayer. I watched the first episode of this new season last week. If you want to see my reactions and my thoughts about it, I'm gonna put the link into the eye. If you don't know me, I binge watched all of Demon Slayer with you guys, so you can find all of my videos about Demon Slayer into the chronological order on a playlist that I created for it, and I'm gonna put the link also in case you want to rewatch everything, you know, to be ready with Demon Slayer, only with Demon Slayer for this new season. It can be something that you can want to do, so check the playlist that I made for it. For sure I'm glad to be there for Demon Slayer for this new season. For sure I'm glad to be back with these characters. You saw it during the last episode. I was so excited. Each time that one of them was appearing, I was like, oh my baby! You know, for Tanjiro, for Nezuko, for Zenitsu, for Inosuke, it was more like, come on, you can't make a regular entry like everyone, like really you have to appear like that. It's so Inosuke to appear like that, in fact. But yes, I was so glad to be back with my babies. They are so sweet, they are so nice. And for sure, the first episode was pretty cool. It was a long one, which felt like a regular one, which is making me a little worried, you know, about the rest of the season, which is already shorter. If each episodes are like that, like if now the regular episodes of 20 minutes feels, you know, like it's 10 minutes, it's gonna feel really short this new season. But just, yes, I was glad to be back with this anime, with these characters. We had a lot of things still during the first episode with all of that preparation for the season, the fact that all guys, they're gonna train with all of the Hashiras, the fact that the Hashiras themselves, they need to train because they want to reach that level of heat, so maybe they're gonna have that mark at some point and all, like maybe it's gonna happen when they're gonna train with Tanjiro. That's my theory for now, because you know, the two Hashiras for whom it happened, it was the one who spent time, you know, with Tanjiro. So, and we know that he was the first one to have a mark. Can it be possible? Like, that's my theory for now. And also the fact that Tomioka was not interested to stay to discuss about the training, how to train all of these students, and also how they could train themselves. Like, I don't know. Them, the Hashiras, they felt like, okay, you want to train on your own already, you're not interested to train the students and all. Me, I felt it like, I know already how to do it. And it would go with that impression that if you're an Hashira and if you spend time with Tanjiro, you can reach that point. We know that Tomioka spent time with Tanjiro at the beginning of everything. So that was my impression at first. That's a little theory that I have, but I don't believe into it that much in comparison of the fact that I believe way more that by training with Tanjiro, they're all gonna have the mark one by one. That's what I think. For Tomioka, maybe it's about that. He already has the mark. Or, in fact, he already knows that his destiny is to be something else, someone else. And you know also that I think that the master is gonna die during this season, meaning that maybe Tomioka can replace him. No, maybe I'm going too far with that. And one of you told me that maybe the master is not gonna die if, you know, with Nezuko, with what's going on with her, maybe they can find a way for him to not die. I don't know. I don't know, but you know, beginning the season I was like, that's it, I'm gonna be safe during this season, no one is gonna die and all. I'm not so sure anymore. Like really, end of this episode 1 I was like, oh, in fact, someone can die suddenly without me knowing it, the master, someone else, I'm not so sure anymore. So that's my theories for the Hashiras and all of that. And also we have Tamayo and Yushiro who are gonna come. It was, you know, the invitation, it was to train also the students, you know, with the chemical things and all the medical situation, more the chemical situation. I'm wondering about the fact that maybe Tamayo and maybe Yushiro, they can train Nezuko. Now that Nezuko is a demon who can be out there and no matter what, who can live with the human beings, with having that form still and all, like Tamayo and Yushiro, they are around human beings and they don't have any issue with it and they are working with them right there. So I don't know, can it be a solution for Nezuko to be trained by Tamayo? Like during the last episode we saw that okay, she's out there, okay, she can talk and all, that's so cool. But clearly she has a little issue with talking and stuff like that, so I think that herself she needs to be trained, and it would be logical, like if everyone is getting trained during this season, why not also Nezuko? That's also one of my theories for this season. See, I have a lot of ideas. It's not things that I expect and that I want to happen at 100%, it's really ideas that I have and that I'm giving to you, like that's it. It's ideas which are floating into my head and maybe one of them is gonna get picked by the anime truly and really just one, and that's gonna be okay. I'm not mad, you know, if my theories they are not truly happening. On the contrary, because it's gonna give me more things to think about, more things to imagine and all, and you know how much I love to do that. So, for this episode, normally we're gonna begin, that's it, the training. The last episode, it was fun really to have all of the characters, like we had really all of them. You know, I'm thinking also about Tengen, I'm thinking about, for sure, all of the Hashiras, the Master. We did not have Muzan, that's the only thing that we did not have. Oh, and we had that opening scene which was so great. That fight against so many demons, and the fact that this place was Muzan place. I think that it can change, you know, it's not gonna stay right there. He can move the place wherever he wants. It's Mary Poppins, okay? Like, it's almost like this place, it's inside of a bag, and if you're putting the bag somewhere else, you can open it, and that's gonna be the place again. Do you understand what I mean? Like, it's not the Mary Poppins thing, but it's that idea that you can move it, you know, it's something which is not real, which is inside of something else that you can move, like that idea. Okay, I'm gonna stop this intro right now. Remember that if you want to have my Patreon, on which you can have these reaction videos for Demon Slayer one day sooner and with a longer reaction part. For the first episode I put the full reaction part. Maybe this time it's gonna be also the full reaction part, or maybe it's gonna be an extended reaction part, meaning still a longer reaction part, without cutting during the scene like I'm forced to do for YouTube. Really, I'm letting the scene go, all of the moments that I want to share with you guys, and it's with full opacity also. So if you want these advantages, you have my Patreon for that. It's the best way to support me, my Patreon. That's why I'm working hard to give you advantages on Patreon, to reward you, to thank you for following me on Patreon. If you want and if you can. Let's go for this episode. I love him.
違うのです。禰豆子さんが太陽を克服して何かが動き出した。もしかしたらその前からすでに動き出していた。あの日起きた出来事がようやくここに来て大きなうねりとなった。
You met him at some point?
これが最後の転居になるかもしれません。行きましょう。鬼殺隊の本拠地産屋敷邸へ。
Yes, girl! What? Okay, Tomioka. Pain? I'm sorry!
情けないことに私は動けなくなってしまってね。ギユと話がしたいんだけれどもうできそうにない。
I said it during the intro, can it be possible that...
話をしてやってくれないだろうか
I don't know. Giyu can replace
前を
the master?
根気強く話をしてやってくれない
And that's why he was not interested to train everyone and all? Because he knows he's destined to be something else?
もし一人ぼっちの人がいたとしてその人に一人ぼっちじゃないですよって
You're asking our advices about how to be with people?
炭治郎さんはその人を元気づけようと思っているんですよね、私ならそっとしておいてほしいです。もうお出かけになるんですか？
You're that kind of person, Medya.
ちょっと待っててください。
Are you gonna give him something?
簡単ですがおにぎりを用意しました。
Nah.
炭治郎さんとその方の分です。何を置いてもまずしっかり食べないと心も体も元気にはならないと思います。
Food can help also to heal.
行ってきます
Believe me.
ごめんください富岡さんこんにちはすいません
You're so sweet, Tanjiro. I
中野
can't.
炭治郎です
Like he didn't recognize you. No. He's
ってい
the
う感じで
kindest.
みんなで稽古をしてるんですけど知ってるお知ってたんですね
Oh really?
よ
You're
かった
so close.
近い俺
Too close for you and your boundaries.
稽古つけてもらっていいですか
お前が水の呼吸を極めなかったことを怒ってる。お前は水柱にならなければならなかった。
それは申し訳なかったです
Ah.
でも
水柱が不在の今、一刻も早く誰かが水柱にならなければならない。
水柱が不在ギユさんがいるじゃん
Yes, I know also.
俺は水柱じゃない。
Not officially, you mean, or not anymore?
根気強く話をしてやってくれないか
If it is something, it's being persistent.
おにぎり持ってきたんですけど
Oh, what's up?
ギユさんおにぎり食べてくれたんです
ね
よよかったですあギユさんギユさんどうしましたかギユさんギユさんどうしましたかこのところ鬼の出現は収まっているようですねよかったでは稽古しましょうギユさん
I love him so much. I admire your patience, I admire your persistence.
俺は最終選別を突破してない。俺と同じく鬼に身内を殺された少年サビトという獅子色の髪の少年と共に選別を受けた。
Tell us.
サビトがギユさんと
Uh-huh.
13歳だった。同じ年で天涯孤独、すぐに仲良くなった。サビトは正義感が強く心の優しい少年だった。あの年の選別で死んだのはサビト一人だけだ。彼があの山の鬼をほとんど一人で倒してしまったんだ。俺は最初に襲いかかってきた鬼に怪我を負わされて、その時もサビトが助けてくれた。サビトは俺を別の少年に預けて助けを呼ぶ声の方へ行ってしまった。気がついた時には選別が終わっていた。
Ew.
俺は確
So
か
you
に
never-
生き延びて選別に受かったが、一体の鬼も倒さず助けられただけの人間が果たして選別に通ったと言えるのだろうか。
Officially you passed, but not in your heart.
俺は水柱になっていい人間じゃない。
Oh, Tomioka. You don't think that you're higher than them like they think?
俺にはあざも出ない。
On
サ
the
ビトが
contrary.
出たかもしれないが、時間の無駄だ。
Not at all. You're gonna have the mark, Tomioka.
ギユさんは自分が死ねばよかったと思っているんだな。痛いほどわかる。
Ah,
自分よりも生きていてほしかった大事な人が自分よりも早く死んでしまったり、それこそ
you're thinking about your family? Rengoku?
詐欺ゲーまで俺に稽古をつけてくれた少年。
I remember.
不思議な体験だった。もう死んでしまっていたはずの彼らが俺を助けてくれた。生きていたら義勇さんと同じくらいの年になる人。すごいな。選別の時みんなを助けたんだ。俺にはできなかった。サビトが生きていたらすごい剣士になっていただろうな。それもあって
Clearly, he would have been one of the
自分が
Hashiras.
死んでいたらよかったと思っているんだ。わかる。だって俺も同じことを思った。
He's feeling, you know, like he stole his
命
place.
をかけて俺たちを守ってくれた。すごい人だった。
I knew that you were thinking about
強
Rengoku.
かった。見事な生き様だった。最後まで煉獄さんの代わりに俺が死んだらよかったんじゃないかと思った。
Anyway.
それに応えることになったんだ。
そうだ。
Tomioka, you're gonna have the mark.
柱になるまで義勇さんがどれだけ自分を嫉妬して叩き上げてきたのか。
He got himself stronger and stronger to try to reach Sabito's level.
だけど義勇さん、ああ、止まってくれない。サビトから託されたものつないでいかないんですか。自分が死ねばよかったなんて二度と言うなよ。もし言ったらお前とはそれまでだ。翌日に祝言を挙げるはずだったお前の姉もことは承知の上で鬼からお前を隠して守っているんだ。他の誰でもないお前がお前の姉を冒涜するな。姉が命をかけてつないでくれた命を
Your sister?
お前もつなぐんだ。キル。
Yeah, I already told you that.
頬を張り飛ばされた衝撃と痛みが鮮やかによみがえる。
Because Tanjiro
忘れていた。
told you something true also.
サビトとのあのやりとり、大事なことだろう。思い出したくなかった。涙が止まらなくなるから。思い出すと悲しすぎて何もできなくなったから。スタコ姉さん、サビト、未熟でごめん。まずい、ピクリともしなくなったぞ。
Yes, he's not saying all of that to you. Wait.
早食い勝負をするのはどうだろう。
Yeah?
遅れてしまったが、俺も稽古に。キーさん、ざるそば勝負しませんか。
They share the same brain.
師範の稽古は稲柱様の後でよろしいですか。私は今回の柱稽古には参加できません。私もっと師範と稽古したいです。
Why are you blushing?
カナオも随分自分の気持ちを素直に言えるようになりましたね。やはり良い頃合いだわ。
She's gonna become the Hashira?
私の姉カナエを殺した鬼について話したいと思います。
Yes, we know about
そして
it.
その鬼の殺し方について話しておきましょう。
You want for her to kill a demon because you want for her to become the new Hashira.
今回はギユさんの紹介です。
もうそばは食べないぞ。
俺も無理ですから大丈夫です。ギユさんの羽織、その半分はもちろんサビトの形見。鬼に殺された姉の千佐子さんの形見なんだって。ギユさんは情に熱い人だから。
It doesn't seem so, but
酒大根でも食べに行くか。競争はなしだ。
you can't eat soda anymore, but you're okay to eat something else. Oh, that was such a nice episode. I didn't cry. Maybe I had tears into my eyes at some point. Maybe you're not close enough to notice it or not. But I didn't cry. And yes, that was a nice episode. Clearly they gave me the answer about Tomioka, why he didn't want to stay with the Hashiras during that moment. Then they thought that maybe it was because he was considering himself, you know, higher than them, and he wanted also maybe to train sooner, you know, for having the mark. Me, I told you during the intro that I had other theories about it, that just maybe he already had it, because I have that theory that by training with Tanjiro you can have it sooner, or you can really have it, and we know that Tomioka spent some time with Tanjiro. Or I had that other theory also that maybe he left because he knew that his destiny, it was to be something else, someone else, maybe the master, if we are considering that the master can die during this season. So, you know, I imagined a lot of theories, I had these two, but clearly I thought that maybe it could be something else, but I never imagined that it would be because in fact he's considering that he doesn't belong with the Hashiras, that he's not good enough to train everyone, and clearly that he's not good enough to have that mark. And in fact all of that story, you know, which was told to them during the previous episode about the mark and about the fact that the Hashiras, they need to have it and all of that story reminded him the fact that he's not at his place, that he's occupying the place that Sabito should have had, because he was the best fighter during that exam, because he saved him, because for sure with how great he was already during that period of time, right now he would be the Hashira. It was for that reason, because he thought that he was not good enough. He passed the exam, but not thanks to his capacities. He didn't kill anyone, and he was protected by Sabito and by everyone else. So he considered that he became a Demon Slayer and after that an Hashira, but he didn't deserve it. When you think about it, it's awful. Awful to think that all of this time Tomioka thought that he was responsible, you know, that, you know, no matter what, he felt guilty about being alive and I was gonna say Rengoku. Oh, the lapsus. And Sabito dead, like Tanjiro feels guilty that Rengoku died and not him. He began everything, you know, having that thought, and all of this time he fought, he trained, just trying to reach that level, you know, Sabito's level, and the level that he imagined that Sabito would have right now at his place. It's something, you know, that you can never reach. In fact, like, it's never gonna be enough. Thinking like that, you can never be enough. You can never deserve your place. You know, I'm really trying to reconsider all of the moments that we had with Tomioka all along these seasons, and each time, you know, he seemed really cold, silent. He never felt, you know, egocentric or anything like that. To me, I never felt him like he was acting too much, like he's really way more important than all of them. I never took his attitude as a sign of that. I always took that attitude as someone who is really introvert, who is really blocked into his mind, talking to himself a lot, and also a man of a few words, you know, someone who doesn't consider that he has to talk that much and that he has to say everything that he thinks, everything that he feels. Clearly, someone totally different than me. But now to know all of that about him, for sure he can only have that attitude, in fact. Oh. You know, I'm really thinking, poor Tomioka, all of this time he felt like that, inside, without saying it to anyone. Tanjiro, running after him each time, it was so fun. I lost so much during this episode, but Tanjiro is really the sweetest, the kindest person. I think that I'm saying that since the first episode of the season 1, when I discovered that character. He really had my heart with that, with the fact that he's so kind. And right there, he was not gonna give up on having Tomioka talking to him and training with him. And he succeeded, like really. Because he reminded Tomioka what Sabito said about you're not dead, like you have to do something with it. Like also Inosuke reminded that to Tanjiro. That parallel during that moment was really well done. I didn't expect at all for Sabito and Tomioka to be connected that much, all of that story. That reminder also about Tomioka's past was pretty great. It's making a parallel more with Tanjiro. But clearly, yes, Sabito, that was really unexpected for me to see him right there and to have all of that story about him, about Tomioka. I didn't talk about the intro with Tamayo and Yuichiro, with the fact that that's it, they're gonna go with the Hashiras helping, that's so cool. The fact that she's saying that it might be their last move, it really means that she's considering that it can be the last thing that she's gonna do, that she's gonna get killed maybe doing it, but she's okay to make that sacrifice. You know, it's implying a lot of things to say something like that. At the end, really, for me, the fact that you're telling her, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do to kill that demon, really, it's like saying, I'm gonna tell you how to have that revenge and all, and also how to become an Hashira. We know that if they are killing a demon, they're becoming an Hashira, so... No? And the fact that she was blushing that much, both of them, the fact that she can't train the students, like, it's almost like she's telling, oh, you're gonna be that one? It can be so great. But can it be during this season? It's such a short season, you know, and I already imagine that we would take one episode for 2 Hashiras training, and in fact, right there, it was one entire episode about Tomioka and not even the training. So they're not gonna build the season like that at all, you know, one episode, one training, or one episode, 2 trainings, not at all. They're gonna divide it in really another way, which is great, because in fact we're gonna have real stories at each episode, and that's gonna be cool. That was a nice episode, really. I had tears in my eyes. I lost so much. It was so cool to lose that much watching Demon Slayer. Not because of Zenitsu acting weird, not because of Inosuke acting weird, because of Tanjiro being so nice and kind. It's cool, you know, to lose for that kind of reasons. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Tell me, what did you think about it, this episode? Okay, so it's all for you and for me for today, so it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Hey.